There comes a time in every soul's journey when the noise of the world grows too loud, when every opinion feels like a weight pressing against the walls of your peace. You try to walk lightly, but you find your steps are guided by eyes that were never meant to see the path you walk. You listen to advice that doesn't fit your heart. You follow maps that were never drawn for your destination, and before long, you find yourself standing in a place that looks nothing like you. That's when you must remember. The year ahead is not a place to please. It is a place to grow. The year ahead is your canvas, not theirs. The brush belongs in your hand. The colors are your choices. The masterpiece is your life. As the world turns toward 2026, you must decide how you will turn with it. You must ask yourself whether you will continue carrying the weight of other people's approval, or whether you will finally release it and stand tall in your own truth. This is not a year for blending into the noise, nor is it a time for explaining your every move to those who do not understand your calling. This is the year to close the doors that lead to distraction and open the window that lets your own light in. You are not behind. You are not late. You are right on time for your own becoming. When you focus on yourself, you are not being selfish, you are being responsible. You are tending to the one garden you can truly grow. You are watering your own roots, so that you can rise with strength instead of desperation. The world has taught us to give, and give until our hands are empty, to pour into others until we forget the taste of our own cup. But you cannot fill the world if your spirit is dry. You cannot save everyone if you are drowning in your own neglect. There is power in pausing, in breathing, in choosing to heal before you help, in resting before you run again. The people who misunderstand you will call it isolation. The people who envy you will call it arrogance. But the people who love you deeply will know that what you are doing is sacred. They will know that you are building yourself from within, piece by piece, quietly, gently, without the applause of the crowd. Because sometimes the strongest thing a person can do is not speak louder but stand still and listen to the voice within that says, "You were made for more than survival. You were made for growth." When the world feels heavy in 2026, don't reach for distraction, reach for direction. Don't numb your pain with noise. Face it with patience. Every tear you shed for the person you used to be will water the soil for the person you are becoming. Every loss you mourn will make room for a gain you never imagined. You don't have to rush your healing. You don't have to compare your timeline to another's. Flowers bloom when their season arrives, not when the garden demands it. You are not late. You are unfolding. Focus on yourself, not because the world doesn't matter, but because you matter in it. The love you crave, the peace you chase, the happiness you seek, they all begin with how deeply you honor your own soul. You cannot expect peace to live in a heart that you abandon daily. You cannot expect joy to bloom in soil that you refuse to nurture. The next version of you is waiting on the other side of discipline, of consistency, of quiet commitment. There will be days when you wake up tired of trying. There will be nights when your dreams feel too far, when your heart whispers, "Maybe I should stop." But those are the moments when you must remind yourself that transformation was never meant to be painless. Growth is not supposed to feel comfortable. It is the ache in your bones when the old you no longer fits the new skin of your becoming. It is the trembling of wings that have never known flight, but dare to stretch anyway. Focus on yourself in 2026 by learning to sit in your own company without needing an audience. Learn to eat alone and call it nourishment, not loneliness. Learn to wake up without checking your phone to see who remembered you, and instead remember yourself. Learn to be present in your own silence, to find music in your own thoughts, to fall in love with the rhythm of your own breath. The more you learn to enjoy your solitude, the less you will tolerate chaos disguised as connection. Let this year be the one where you finally stop explaining your worth to people who are committed to misunderstanding it. You owe no one a version of yourself that shrinks to fit their comfort. You owe no one the dimming of your light so they can feel less insecure. The only apology you owe is to yourself, for all the times you stayed quiet when your soul was screaming for more. For all the times you accepted less because you feared being alone. For all the times you forgot that you were the prize. Focus on yourself by protecting your energy as if it were gold, because it is. Not everyone deserves access to your peace. Not everyone deserves to know your dreams before they are ready to live. Silence will be your greatest ally. Privacy will be your protection. The less they know, the less they can interfere. Not every opinion needs an answer. Not every critic deserves a response. Your growth is your proof. Let them wonder. Let them watch. Let them see the results in your glow. The world will tempt you to chase approval, to post every move, to prove your worth through validation, likes, and comparisons. But remember, the loudest life is not always the happiest one. The truest joy often hides in the simplest places. In morning sunlight, in a good book, in the sound of your own laughter when no one is watching. This year, let your joy be private. Let your blessings be quiet. Let your growth speak in silence. When you focus on yourself, you become magnetic. Not because you are trying to attract others, but because you are becoming whole. People will feel your peace before they see your success. They will sense your strength before they understand your story. And those who are meant to walk with you will find you not because you chased them, but because you became aligned with your truth. The wrong people will fall away naturally, like leaves in autumn, and you will stop chasing what was never yours to begin with. You will learn that focusing on yourself does not mean shutting the world out. It means stepping into it with clarity. It means knowing who you are before the world tries to tell you who to be. It means choosing your path not because it's popular, but because it's right for your soul. It means saying no without guilt, yes without fear, and walking away without resentment. There is a certain beauty that comes when a person decides to grow quietly. It's in the way they stop arguing. It's in the way they stop seeking revenge. It's in the way they choose peace over pettiness, healing over hatred. You will see it in the way they carry themselves, lighter, freer, unbothered. They no longer chase love, because they understand that love flows toward peace. They no longer beg for attention, because they've built contentment within. That is what 2026 should be about. Not proving yourself, but becoming yourself. Every wound you've carried into this new year has a lesson hidden inside it. Some people came into your life to teach you love, others to teach you loss, and some to teach you boundaries. Don't curse the ones who hurt you. They played their part in your awakening. Don't regret the detours. They led you to the strength you now hold. Every chapter, even the painful ones, was preparing you for the wisdom that you carry today. This year, promise yourself that you will not shrink to make others comfortable. Promise yourself that you will no longer entertain people who drain you just because you fear being alone. Promise yourself that you will stop chasing closure from those who never gave you clarity. Promise yourself that you will protect your time as fiercely as you protect your heart. Promise yourself that your peace will be your priority, no matter who or what tries to disturb it. Focusing on yourself does not mean you stop caring for others. It means you learn to give from a full cup. It means you set boundaries so your love does not become exhaustion. It means you honor your own needs instead of silencing them to please others. You cannot be the light for everyone if you keep burning yourself out. Learn to recharge, to rest, to renew. You must also remember that focusing on yourself includes forgiving yourself. For the mistakes you made when you didn't know better. For the times you settled when you deserved more. for the times you stayed silent when you should have spoken up. You are not your past. You are your potential. Every sunrise gives you permission to begin again, to rewrite your story, to choose differently. In 2026, make your focus your growth, not gossip. Your peace, not approval. Your healing, not your history. Speak less, do more. Compare less, create more. Complain less, pray more. Don't waste your breath explaining yourself to those who only listen to reply. Pour your energy into your dreams, your health, your faith, your inner world. The glow you seek is not found in someone else's validation. It's built through discipline, self-respect, and patience. There will be seasons of loneliness, but that loneliness is not a punishment. It is a cleansing. It is life's way of removing the noise so you can finally hear your own thoughts. Do not rush to fill it. Sit with it. Learn from it. In that silence, you will discover what truly matters. You will learn that peace is not found in the presence of people, but in the absence of chaos. You will realize that the greatest freedom comes when you stop waiting for others to choose you. You will stop begging for love that doesn't nourish you. You will stop trying to fix those who don't want to be healed. You will stop explaining your heart to people who have already made up their minds. You will start walking differently, lighter, stronger, more certain. You will realize that your worth was never in how much you were needed, but in how deeply you can stand alone. In 2026, focus on your health. Your mind, your heart, your body. Eat foods that bless your spirit. Read words that elevate your thoughts. Surround yourself with souls who remind you of your strength. Don't fill your space with noise that breaks your peace. Don't scroll your life away searching for what you can only find within. You deserve a mind that is still, a body that feels alive, a soul that is rested. Focus on your goals. Not because they prove your value, but because they honor your potential. Show up for yourself daily, even when no one is clapping. Discipline is the love language of the future you. Be consistent when it's boring, persistent when it's slow, patient when it's hard. You may not see results instantly, but every small step counts. Growth is not loud, it's steady. Progress is not always visible, but it's always happening when you stay true to your vision. And through it all, remember to be kind to yourself. Speak softly to your own heart. You've survived things you thought would break you. You've walked through fire and still found a way to love. You've been knocked down and still stood tall. You've been misunderstood and still kept your grace. That is strength. That is beauty. That is you. So, as the clock turns and the world calls this year new, don't just make resolutions. Make revolutions within your spirit. Walk differently. Think differently. Choose differently. Don't wait for others to believe in you. Be the one who believes in your own magic first. Don't wait for someone to save you. Be the one who saves yourself. Focus on yourself in 2026, because you are the foundation of everything you build. The way you love yourself will teach the world how to love you. The way you speak to yourself will shape your destiny. The way you honor your peace will define the quality of your days. The world will reflect what you believe you deserve. Believe that you are worthy of peace, of purpose, of joy, and life will meet you halfway. The truth is, no one can walk this journey for you. No one can understand the quiet battles you fight or the dreams you keep alive in the dark. But you can. You can be your own anchor when the waves rise. You can be your own light when the path is dim. You can be the one who doesn't give up on you. So, breathe. Begin again. Forgive again. Love again. Trust again. Every day is a new chance to choose yourself, to show up, to rebuild, to rise. This is your year to stop waiting for someone to hand you permission. You were born with it. You have always had it. 2026 is not waiting for your hesitation. It is waiting for your commitment. Commit to you. Commit to your peace. Commit to your purpose. The world may not understand your silence, but it will feel your transformation. You are not here to blend in. You are here to shine. You are not here to please. You are here to evolve. You are not here to survive. You are here to rise. So stand tall, speak gently, walk bravely, love deeply, and above all, focus on yourself, because when you do, everything else will fall into its rightful place. In 2026, choose silence over validation. Your peace will speak louder than any explanation. Silence has a power that noise will never understand. When you stop explaining, stop defending, stop trying to prove your worth to people who already decided what to think of you, something shifts inside you. You begin to reclaim your energy. You begin to feel how freeing it is to not chase understanding. Because the truth is, the more you explain yourself to those who are committed to misunderstanding you, the more you drain your own spirit. Some people don't want to see you clearly. They want to see you smaller. They want you to keep talking so they can twist your truth into their comfort. But there comes a time when silence is no longer weakness. It's wisdom. It's the realization that you don't owe anyone access to your peace just because they demand your noise. In a world where everyone wants to be seen, the real strength is in being centered. The loudest person in the room is rarely the most certain. Those who are grounded in themselves don't need to shout to be heard. They let their energy, their growth, and their calm speak for them. You'll notice that the more peaceful you become, the less you feel the urge to correct others. You stop needing to prove your point because your peace has already proven it. You start to see that not every battle is worth your voice. Not every misunderstanding needs a reply. The people meant for you will understand you in your quiet, not just in your words. Validation has become an addiction in this age. A constant chase for likes, approval, recognition. But validation is a fragile foundation. It cracks the moment others withdraw it. Peace, however, is unshakable because it comes from within. When you build yourself on the whispers of your own intuition instead of the noise of the crowd, you stop being a slave to opinions. You stop waking up wondering who approves of you, and you start waking up proud of who you are. There is a beauty in walking away from anything that disturbs your calm without explaining why. You owe no one an essay for your peace. You owe no one your breath to justify your boundaries. The quiet power of peace makes people uncomfortable because it cannot be controlled. When you become calm, others can't manipulate your reaction. They can't guilt you with silence or bait you with chaos. Your calm becomes your armor. It's how you protect your heart without building walls. It's how you show yourself that your energy is sacred. Silence doesn't mean submission. It means mastery. It means you've grown enough to know that not everything deserves your engagement. Some things deserve your absence. Some things deserve your quiet. And in that quiet, your light grows clearer. Your peace begins to echo louder than anything you could ever say. Healing is not isolation, it's transformation disguised as stillness. Too often, people confuse solitude with loneliness, forgetting that the most profound growth happens in the quiet moments when no one is watching. Healing is not a punishment, it's preparation. It's the space where the noise settles, and you finally hear the sound of your own heart again. It's not about being alone because no one cares. It's about being alone because you finally do. When life breaks you open, it doesn't do so to destroy you, but to rearrange you into someone wiser, softer, and stronger. Healing demands distance from the familiar chaos because clarity is born in quiet. You can't hear the truth of your soul if you're always surrounded by distractions that drown it out. There will be seasons when you withdraw, not because you've given up, but because you're gathering strength. People may misunderstand it. They might say you've changed, that you're distant, that you've shut everyone out. But what they don't see is that you're becoming. You're rebuilding the parts of you that were broken from years of giving too much, loving too quickly, and forgiving too easily. Healing asks for patience, for grace, for stillness. It's not loud or glamorous. It's messy, quiet, and deeply personal. You'll have nights when you cry without knowing why, mornings when getting out of bed feels like victory, and days when you wonder if you'll ever feel whole again. But in that process, you're growing into the version of yourself that no longer needs to be rescued. Healing is not isolation because, even when you're alone, life is still moving within you. Your heart is learning to trust again. Your mind is learning to rest. Your soul is remembering its worth. The silence isn't empty. It's full of transformation. It's in that stillness that you begin to see who you are without the noise of expectation. You start recognizing the difference between what you've been told you should be and who you actually are. You begin to forgive yourself for all the times you ignored your own needs for the sake of others. You begin to realize that solitude is sacred because it gives you back to yourself. People will call your distance strange, your peace boring, your silence uncomfortable. But that's because they can no longer reach the parts of you that used to be easily shaken. Healing takes away your need for validation and replaces it with contentment. You stop seeking permission to rest, to protect your energy, to choose yourself. You learn that it's okay to outgrow people who only understood the unhealed version of you. Healing doesn't separate you from love. It brings you closer to real love, the kind that starts from within. It's not isolation, it's evolution. It's the slow return to your own heartbeat, to the strength that was always yours, waiting beneath the noise. ChatGPT said protect your energy like it's gold, because not everyone deserves your light. The more you grow, the more you'll realize how sacred your peace truly is. Not everyone who smiles at you has good intentions. Not everyone who wants your time deserves your time. Some people come to drain, not to pour. Some come to distract, not to build. Protecting your energy isn't about being cold or distant. It's about being wise enough to know that your spirit is too valuable to be handled carelessly. When you protect your energy, you are not pushing people away. You are prioritizing the quality of your connections over the quantity of your interactions. You begin to understand that not every message needs a reply, not every invitation deserves a yes, and not every argument is worth your response. You learn to say no with peace in your heart, because peace is more important than pleasing people who only remember you when they need something. Protecting your energy is learning to recognize how you feel after you leave a conversation, a room, or a person. If you walk away feeling drained instead of inspired, that is your sign. Energy doesn't lie. Your body always knows when your spirit feels safe and when it doesn't. Listen to that voice inside you that whispers when something isn't right. It's not fear, it's wisdom. There will always be people who try to make you feel guilty for setting boundaries. They'll call you distant, selfish, or difficult, but what they're really saying is that your limits no longer benefit them. Protecting your energy means knowing the difference between helping someone and hurting yourself in the process. You cannot keep pouring from an empty cup. You cannot keep rescuing those who refuse to swim. You cannot keep showing up for people who disappear when you need them most. Your energy is your life force. Once it's scattered, you lose your focus, your joy, and your direction. You'll learn that peace is expensive, and not everyone can afford it. Some will try to buy it with manipulation, guilt, or charm, but you will know better. Protecting your energy will require letting go of people you once thought you couldn't live without. It will require saying no to opportunities that don't align with your growth. It will require choosing solitude over company that drains you. But in return, it will give you freedom. The freedom to be yourself without the constant pull of expectations. You will stop chasing people who never show up for you, and you will start showing up for yourself. Protecting your energy is an act of self-respect. It's how you honor your spirit, how you keep your light from dimming, and how you stay true to your peace no matter what the world around you demands. Growth will require losing people, patterns, and pieces of yourself that no longer serve your future. It will not always be graceful, and it will not always be kind. Growth is a quiet breaking, a shedding of everything that once made you feel safe, but now holds you back. You will wake up one morning and realize that the version of you who tolerated disrespect, who overgave, who stayed silent, no longer fits the skin you're growing into. And that realization will hurt, because the things you're outgrowing are often the things you once prayed for. The friendships, the habits, the places that once brought comfort will start to feel heavy, and you'll wonder if you're doing something wrong. But this discomfort isn't punishment, it's progress. It's the soul's way of saying you can't carry the past into your next chapter. Growth doesn't always come wrapped in motivation or positivity. Sometimes it comes disguised as endings. It shows up as doors closing, people walking away, or opportunities falling through. It teaches you that not everything that leaves is a loss, and not everything that stays deserves a place in your future. The universe has a way of clearing your path when you refuse to. The people who can't meet you at your new level will fall away, not because you're better than them, but because your journey is calling you elsewhere. You can't force people to grow with you. You can only love them from afar and continue forward. There's a pain that comes with letting go, a grief for the versions of yourself that once felt comfortable. You'll miss the simplicity of who you were before you knew better. But you'll also realize that comfort was costing you clarity. Growth asks you to surrender control, to stop trying to fix what's breaking and allow what's ending to end. It asks you to trust that even though it feels like loss, it's making space for alignment. The path ahead will not open if you're still clinging to what's behind you. There will be moments when you question your progress, when loneliness whispers that maybe you should go back. But going back would mean shrinking again, dimming again, forgetting again. Growth requires courage, the kind that keeps walking even when your heart trembles. It's in those trembling steps that transformation happens. You learn to find beauty in becoming unfamiliar with yourself, to find peace in uncertainty, to find strength in release. Every version of you that fades away makes room for a stronger one to rise. Growth is not just about gaining, it's about clearing, refining, and realigning. You are not losing yourself, you are uncovering who you've always been beneath the weight of who you thought you had to be. The more you learn to love your solitude, the less you'll tolerate chaos disguised as connection. There is a certain kind of peace that only solitude can teach, a calm that comes when you no longer seek validation in noise. When you begin to love your own company, you stop feeling lonely in your own presence. You start to understand that solitude is not the absence of love, it is the presence of self. It is the space where your spirit breathes freely without having to perform, prove, or please. It is where you learn what your heart sounds like when it's not competing with the voices of others. In solitude, you see yourself clearly, not through the filter of someone else's opinion, but through the honesty of your own reflection. When you finally make peace with being alone, you stop chasing relationships that feel like survival. You no longer cling to people just to avoid silence. You stop answering calls that drain your energy and responding to messages that disturb your calm. You realize that love isn't supposed to be chaos, that connection isn't supposed to hurt, and that attention isn't the same as affection. Solitude teaches you that peace is more precious than company that costs your sanity. It reminds you that loneliness doesn't come from being without people. It comes from being surrounded by the wrong ones. You'll start to notice the shift in your energy when you no longer feel the need to fill your time with distractions. You'll find joy in the small rituals, making coffee for yourself in the morning, watching the sunset alone, reading words that heal you, or simply sitting in silence without feeling restless. That's the moment you'll understand that solitude isn't empty, it's full. Full of clarity, full of peace, full of presence. It's the sanctuary where you rebuild yourself without interference. It's where your thoughts settle, your wounds breathe, and your soul begins to glow again. People may misunderstand your calm. They might call you detached or distant, but they'll never understand how much it costs to protect your peace. They'll never know the battles you've fought to unlearn codependency, to stop mistaking noise for love, to stop needing company that comes with conditions. The more you fall in love with your solitude, the less you crave temporary people. You begin to crave depth, not attention. You begin to value consistency over intensity. You begin to walk away from anything that feels like confusion, because you've learned that peace is never confusing. Solitude becomes your teacher, your healer, your strength. It gives you the power to say no without guilt and to stand alone without fear. The more you embrace it, the less space you'll have for chaos, pretending to be love, for drama disguised as care, for people who only come close when they need your light but disappear when you need theirs. ChatGPT said, "Your discipline is the purest form of self-love. Show up even when no one is watching." Discipline is not punishment, it is devotion. It's the quiet promise you keep to yourself long after the motivation fades. It's waking up on the days when your spirit feels heavy, when your mind tries to bargain for comfort, and still choosing to honor your goals. Discipline is how you speak love to your future self. It's saying, "I care enough about the person I'm becoming to do what's hard today." Anyone can be inspired for a moment, but it takes heart to be consistent when no one is applauding. It takes maturity to do what needs to be done without broadcasting it, without seeking recognition. Discipline is built in silence, maintained through patience, and rewarded through transformation. It is the invisible thread between who you are now and who you dream to be. When you are disciplined, you are no longer controlled by your emotions. You learn that your feelings are valid, but they are not always your truth. Some days you will not feel like showing up, but you will do it anyway. Some days the world will test you with distractions, but you will keep your focus. You will understand that the most dangerous temptation is not failure, it's comfort. Comfort whispers that you can skip today, that you can rest before the work is done, that you can postpone your purpose until it feels convenient. But discipline knows the truth. The cost of comfort is always regret. Every time you choose comfort over consistency, you steal a little bit of your future peace. Discipline will often make you feel lonely, because not everyone will understand your priorities. They will not understand why you say no to plans, why you sleep early, why you guard your mornings, why you choose work over distraction. They won't understand why you distance yourself from noise or refuse to waste time explaining your focus. But the more you stay consistent, the more your silence will start to speak for you. People will see your results before they ever see your reasons. The discipline that once made you feel isolated will one day make you free. You'll realize that you don't need to prove your commitment. Your growth will prove it for you. There is a quiet kind of pride that comes from keeping your own promises. The kind of pride that doesn't need validation because it knows the effort behind every small victory. When you're disciplined, you no longer chase motivation. You create momentum. You stop waiting for the right mood, the right moment, the right support, and you begin. Discipline doesn't ask for perfection, only presence. Even small progress becomes powerful when it's consistent. A little done daily will always outweigh a lot done occasionally. Discipline teaches you that success is not about intensity. It's about persistence. It's not about what you do once. It's about what you do every single day, even when it's not exciting. When you build discipline, you build trust with yourself. Every time you follow through on your own word, you remind yourself that you can rely on you. That trust is sacred. It's what helps you keep going when life throws uncertainty your way. It's what helps you stay grounded when you could easily fall back into old habits. Discipline becomes the bridge between the chaos of desire and the calm of fulfillment. It teaches you that freedom isn't found in doing whatever you want. It's found in having control over what you choose. The more disciplined you become, the freer you feel because you are no longer at the mercy of impulse. Discipline is also an act of respect for your dreams, for your potential, for your purpose. It's refusing to keep disappointing yourself for temporary pleasures. It's learning to delay gratification because you trust that what you're building will be worth it. It's staying loyal to your future, even when the present feels uncertain. Most people quit not because they can't, but because they lose sight of why they started. Discipline keeps your why alive when motivation fades. It's what keeps you walking when the excitement wears off, what keeps you pushing when no one is cheering, what keeps you moving when the results are still invisible. The world celebrates outcomes, but discipline celebrates effort. It honors the unseen hours, the early mornings, the quiet nights when you're working while others sleep. It honors the countless times you choose patience over frustration, focus over distraction, consistency over chaos. No one claps for you when you're putting in the work in silence. But the reward always comes later, in the peace you feel when you know you didn't give up on yourself. Discipline gives you confidence not because you've arrived, but because you know you're committed to the journey. You no longer fear delays or detours because you trust your process. You understand that success built slowly lasts longer than success that comes suddenly. There will be days when your mind tries to convince you that effort doesn't matter. Days when progress feels invisible. Days when you wonder if all the sacrifices are worth it. But those are the moments that shape you most. Because discipline isn't about the easy days, it's about the hard ones. It's about showing up when you're tired, when no one believes in you, when the world feels indifferent. It's about proving to yourself that your word means something. Every time you honor your discipline, you strengthen your self-worth. You show yourself that you are capable of keeping your promises, and that is the foundation of true confidence. Discipline also teaches you patience. It shows you that growth cannot be rushed, and that consistency is more valuable than speed. It allows you to embrace the process instead of craving instant results. The disciplined soul learns that progress is invisible before it becomes undeniable. You plant seeds in silence, you water them daily, and you trust the unseen work happening beneath the surface. One day the results will bloom, and everyone will call it overnight success. But you'll know how long it truly took. You'll know how many nights you chose effort over excuses, purpose over pleasure, and peace over procrastination. The beauty of discipline is that it touches every area of life. It's not just about work or fitness or goals. It's about integrity. It's about showing up for your relationships, your healing, your spiritual growth, your emotional maturity. It's about being the kind of person who follows through on commitments, not just when it's convenient, but when it's necessary. It's about holding yourself accountable without shame, about making adjustments instead of excuses, about starting over as many times as it takes. Discipline is the quiet language of self-respect. It doesn't scream or demand attention. It simply shows in how you carry yourself, how you spend your time, how you treat your purpose. In time, discipline becomes less of a struggle and more of a rhythm. It becomes woven into your identity. You stop fighting to be consistent because consistency becomes who you are. You don't have to convince yourself to show up. You just do. That's when you realize that the hardest part of discipline wasn't the work. It was breaking the habit of abandoning yourself. Once you learn to keep your own promises, you no longer seek external accountability. You become your own motivator, your own coach, your own compass. The noise of the world fades, and the voice of your purpose grows louder. You understand that the real reward of discipline isn't the success it brings, but the peace it creates. The peace of knowing you stayed true to yourself, even when no one was watching.